I believe I'm the last speaker. One more. Of course, I'm not as eloquent as the immediate past speaker. That's why it's a reflection of my humble paper that I will be presenting to you this afternoon. And also, it's a reflection of how humble I am in terms of my, you know, a year already. Less than a year, because I came into that school last June. I was hired to work into some of the system and standardization. And at this time, I am thinking, I hope they're not mistaken in hiring me. In the paper, because this is part of one of the evidence that I will present to the administration. Because when I came into the school, faculty are divided as everything, not ChatGPT. Some teachers immediately disregard ChatGPT, or maybe if they can find students using ChatGPT immediately. And some teachers do not say that, as what Professor Ryan said, some lazy teachers doing that. So, and because I'm also teaching in another university, it's a graduate program, and all of us professors are oriented about how to use different AI. So with this, I would like to, this is the paper that I will present, this a kind of data that I will present to the owner to be able to create policy. That's why I presented it before with you, so that you can help me in terms of enhancing, and so basically maybe what recommendation that you can help. So very the title, reasoning of nursing students. While I'm teaching ethics in the nursing students for year, 4 sections. So that's the respondents of this study. Okay, artificial intelligence is transforming nursing education, enhancing learning and efficiency, but also raising ethical concerns. The study explores how nursing students use AI, the ethical dilemmas they face, and its impact on their decision making. Again, North Valley College, where I work in Kidapawan City, our tuition fee is very low. It's only 300 pesos per unit. That's around 13,000 per semester. I think 25 in dollars, only $250 per semester. So $500 per year for a nursing student. Most of our students are really coming from poor families. They're working while they're studying. At the same time, around 30% of our students are Muslims. They're coming from Maguindanao, the Bangsamoro region. Around 15% are indigenous peoples. And mostly they are poor. So while the school has nursing program, so that's the context of the school. Offers 3 ethics courses for the nursing students. We have bioethics, nursing ethics, and of course the general ethics, the general education program. And the increasing reliance on AI tools like ChatGPT raises concern about the potential impact of students' ability to engage in independent ethical reasoning and decision making. Of course, despite the growing adoption of AI, and high for knowledge, acquisition, and efficiency. But there remains a gap in AI to apply ethical principles in real-world healthcare settings. I use mixed method for my students, so I surveyed 127 fourth-year nursing students, 4 sections. And I also use case scenarios to be able, the students to answer. That's part of the qualitative study. Now, in terms of the results show that students are highly aware of AI applications like ChatGPT, the Grammarly, the Killbot, and IBM Watson Health. With 100% these tools. However, when it comes to more specialized AI tools like Socratic by Google, SimX, Oxford Medical Simulation, and Dynamite, knowledge levels drop with only about 52.75 indicating familiarity. That's familiarity. The survey was about, are you aware, are you familiar? Is about the 100% of students followed by Grammarly. This shows that AI has become an integral part of their academic routines, helping them getting so with utilitarian ethics, which emphasizes maximizing benefits while minimizing effort. Now, AI is making students efficient, allowing them to focus on other aspects of their education. As I said, they're working, and the context of our students, Monday to Wednesday, they are in Davao for duty. And we know Davao and Kinabalu, that's 3 to 4 hours by bus. And their class is only Thursday. And their class is 9 o'clock. So after their duty at 6 o'clock, we travel back to Kinabalu. That's how difficult the life of nursing students in our school. However, from the lens of virtue ethics, over-reliance on AI hinder the development of essential skills like independent research, thinking, and analytic writing. AI should be a tool for enhancement, not a crutch that replaces deep learning, as mentioned by our previous speaker. Now, in the qualitative, I just provided this 3-case scenario for the students to answer. Number one scenario is this. Samantha is a fourth-year nursing student who is struggling to balance her demanding course load with her part-time job. She has an upcoming assignment where she must write a detailed care plan for a hypothetical patient with type 2 diabetes. Feeling overwhelmed, she decides to use ChatGPT to help her generate the care plan. Samantha provides ChatGPT with details about the well-structured and thorough care plan. Then, she submits the work as her own. A few days later, her instructor, Dr. Rivera, praises her for the detailed care plan, calling it one of the best. Other nurse over here, Samantha takes to spend hours researching, writing the care plan, feels conflicted. They understand Samantha's struggle as a working student, but also feel that her actions were unethical. Alex is unsure whether to speak to Dr. Rivera about Samantha's use of ChatGPT. At the same time, Alex begins to wonder whether ChatGPT for the same. The question is, the discussion that I asked the students to answer is, was Samantha's use of ChatGPT unethical? Why or why not? You have to, it's part of the quiz. Or should Alex report Samantha? Why or why students be taught how to use AI responsibly, or should issues be restricted entirely in academic setting? The first case study focuses on Samantha's nursing student who used ChatGPT to generate a care plan for a hypothetical patient and submitted it as her own. The study found out that 92.91% of students consider this unethical. And take note, they're using ChatGPT. In the previous survey, all of them used ChatGPT. While 7.8% argued that AI is a helpful academic tool. So from a deontological ethics perspective, Samantha's action violates academic integrity. Nursing students are expected to uphold honesty and fairness in their education. And using AI to complete assignments without proper attribution goes against these ethical duties. However, situational ethics suggests that ethical decisions should be context-based. Some students attendance workload in nursing adapting to modern challenges rather than engaging in dishonest behavior. This aligns with pragmatism, which values practical solutions over rigid ethical rules. Yet, from professional ethics standpoint, AI missions in academic settings in clinical practice. Because nursing as a profession demands integrity, and if students become too dependent on AI during their studies, they may struggle with ethical decision making in real-world patient care. The next, a nursing school, introduces an advanced AI-powered simulation tool that allows students to practice patient care in a virtual environment. The tool replicates real-life scenarios with remarkable accuracy, such as responding to a patient in cardiac arrest or managing a diabetic crisis. Students can interact with virtual patients, receive feedback, and repeat scenarios as often as possible needed to improve their skills. While highly beneficial, some like Rachel worry it's replacing valuable hands-on experience with real patients. Clinical rotation have been reduced due to the school relying more on the AI stimulator, and so on and so forth. And the discussion is that should AI stimulation hours only supplement real-world experience? AI stimulation, we've been discussing it even yesterday, cultural sensitivity and the emotional aspects of care. The second scenario, or the second study, examines whether AI-driven stimulation should replace or supplement real-world show that students believe AI concerns about this emphasizes learning through direct experience or human interaction, as Professor Mapolok was talking about. AI stimulation can help students develop technical skills, but they cannot fully capture the complexities of human interaction, patient distress, or the unpredictability of real-life scenarios. From the care ethics of Gilligan, the thesis of our dear father Dexter, interpersonal relationships are a common component of healthcare. AI stimulation lacks the emotional depth required for developing empathy, cultural sensitivity, and the real-world communications. The last scenario is about the AI and medical diagnosis. It's about a nursing student completing her clinical rotation in a busy urban hospital, and recently the hospital introduced a hypothetical scenario patient data suggesting probable diagnosis. One day Maria is shadowing a senior nurse, Beth, during rounds, and Beth uses AI tool to evaluate the patient James, who present with fatigue, given to my nursing students are this: should Beth have relied solely on AI assessment, or was Maria correct to trust her clinical judgment and raise her concern, and why? Explain. And who's morally responsible? The developers of the AI or the healthcare system, etc. And the result shows that 63% of students believe, AI stimulation should only of human AI-driven stimulation can in short in teaching them the emotional intelligence needed for patient care. Recent research by Zhang and Topol 2023 reinforces this. No? Now let me proceed with a few more slides. One of the most concerning ethical dilemmas involve reliance on AI for patient diagnosis. The study's findings show that 81.88% of students believe that depending on AI over human. From a consequentialist perspective, decisions should be evaluated based on their outcomes, and an AI misdiagnosis could have severe consequences. Moreover, the study indicates that 96.06% of students hold the healthcare system responsible for misdiagnosis rather than the AI developers. So all students in this research agree that AI education should be included in nursing curricula. Teaching students responsible AI usage ensures that they can leverage its advantage without violating. Policies and guidelines maintaining professional integrity. Let me proceed to the conclusion. While AI enhances learning efficiency, it also raises ethical concern regarding academic honesty, professional responsibility, and patient care. So ethical theories such as deontology, Kantian ethics, virtue ethics, and care ethics highlight the necessity of balancing AI benefits with human oversight. The findings of this study reinforce the importance of AI literacy in nursing education and call for robust policies to ensure AI is used ethically. And study actually is I have to expand that because I only serve with nursing students, but it has to be institutionalized. That's my work in the school, no? To institutionalize practices and systems for standardization. So, while the paper suggests AI ethics in nursing students, I believe it should be expanded to the rest of the. We have 10 programs in the college. Institutional policies to prevent AI misuse in settings, because as we have already accepted, we cannot prevent the usage of AI. In fact, students are using ChatGPT. Should complement, not replace, both hands-on experience. And of course, stronger AI oversight in healthcare, because our school is basically in the 10 programs, 6 of them are paramedical. So basically, it's more on the paramedical program. So regulatory policy should ensure AI serve as a supportive tool rather than a decision maker in clinical practice. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope if you have some questions and maybe offer suggestions as regards to the improvement, and especially when it comes to, I will present this to the management and the owner to be able to design a policy on AI in our college. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rogelio. And we'll have a discussion now. This is the last paper for today. Suma will go tomorrow morning when we have time in this some of these accounts. Just to remind everybody, we start tomorrow at 8:30. Today we started at 8:30, and many people were not here at 8:30. Okay. Rogelio, so if AI is going to offer free for everybody is.
As Professor Macolov mentioned a while ago, we might lose our job when we talk about all these things. However, I think because one thing in terms of culture, so we are basically to be in an environment where we can interact personally. That's the culture of Filipinos. And I think whether AI is really replacing, I do not really think it replaces. Parents would like their students to enroll in AI rather than in a physical school wherein there is a usual interaction, development of empathy. Education is not only, as I mentioned, it's not only information, but basically exchange ideas and also feelings, sentiments. As a communitarian society, the Philippines, even this time, we introduced online, but parents in my survey, they prefer to have face-to-face education. So, school is from 500, we are now to 1,000, and last year we were 3,700 students. So, significant increase. And because we offer, face-to-face and some of the blended, not purely online. So, going back to your question, Daryl, in Mindanao, I think, and maybe in the whole Philippines, my colleague here in the capital can also attest, in the capital area of the Philippines, that's parents and students would like to. Yes, Patrick.
Thank you for your very in-depth presentation, and it's really, so to say, experiential, pragmatic reflection. It just come across to my mind this time that, including myself, during my presentation yesterday, we have so much anxiety as regards to the AI taking over some of our roles. Principle of adaptive beings competing in a constructive sense with the AI backing things or feeding us or helping us in terms of progress. We are so capable in many things. AI might provide us very well-researched matters, but our brain, our human really is something very amazing being that we ever have. Like reconstructing things from the AI-fed things and trying to making things sensible for him to use this in as regards to for his use. How do you the principle of adaptability to AI, especially in the context of school? Do you think we can really can we catch in time to adjust with AI as regards to our capability as a human being?
Definitely yes, because basically AI is also a product of human ingenuity. So, and I think when we talk about adaptability, I can connect that to Daryl's previous question on maybe should AI replace the classroom. I do not think it is as of the moment. And students and even faculty can use this, of course, responsibly given the policy and regulation, to be able to take inventions of human. At the same time, without really, disregarding the basic in terms of education. It's not about information, but formation of values, discipline, and empathy. It's not really about skills and knowledge and expertise, technical expertise, but basically when we talk about education is how we shape in terms of our value system, our morals, our ethical decision making, and we can still use this AI in terms of how we can lessen some of the burdens that in terms of education and research, but basically with the standard, with regulation and policy, to have the ethical use or responsible use of this AI, and I think we can still adapt. No, that's where adaptability comes in, rather than prohibiting them to have it's open. We might and the schools to do that, and with the students to be able to have this adaptability, but prudent and discern adaptability. I think that's my.
Other comments or suggestions? Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe if I may, since we're talking about AI in education, maybe I'd like to share something that we are doing currently in our institution. We have institutionalized an AI use policy that we have in our syllabus, wherein we already recognize that AI is but we have to put in certain levels, like which of the courses would require no AI at all, especially for foundational courses, or which would help, or what types of courses would have would benefit from let's say limited AI usage, or maybe if it is a subject wherein you need to produce an idea that is assisted by AI. So we have different levels. So either no AI, limited AI usage, significant usage of AI, and full AI integration. So maybe that is something that we can probably evaluate in your institution, so that which ones will be allowed and which will be not allowed at all.
Thank you so much. That is why. Thank you for that input. One area that I would like to really be implemented in the school now is the acquisition of Turnitin, because that's where we can, at least we can distinguish. Because there's no way help of other tools. So without that, it will be very difficult. While we have this implementation of policy, or the policy formulation, it's difficult to, properly monitor. But with the process, we're negotiating with the provider already. I hope the management will approve this. The next phase of this will be that kind of policy or practice that you are adapting, and might as well, if you can give me some of the copy if you like, so I can also make that. Thank you so much.
Sir.
Yes, sir, Dennis.
Okay, I'd like to share something regarding the use of tools in AI, especially we educators. I think we should know our students well, especially in the age of AI. So why? So we need to know them how well, let's say, their submissions, the quality of work they submit, how they participate in class. So why? My son did an experiment. My son is a grade 12 student. He's doing a research right now in one of his subjects. So my son told me, "Pa, I will do a research." Well, that's good. So do you need help? No. I want to do my research without using any AI tool, like Killbot, the grammar, mom, his classmate. He upload his paper on an AI tool. It says 100% AI. So see, so if we rely on checking our students' work, and we don't really know them, how well they do in class, so we might flag the student, oh, this is 100% AI. And yet, in my son's experiment, he did not use any AI at all. That's all.
May I respond to that, Darren? One thing that I use is basically we can detect that by, there are, in my quiz and exam, no cell phone, etc. No cell phone, there's only the ball pen. And then the have this easy, that's the case scenario that I present. And basically, I would assume that is their own. Because sometimes if they are in gadget, then they can do search with AI. And I think one or two, then you can use the way students think and write.
Correct.
Maybe the next submission using online and drastically improve. Maybe you can question whether maybe there's something wrong with this. My way of checking.
Yeah.
Simple way of checking. Thank you.
Good, thank you very much, Julio. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you all for the discussion. So we start tomorrow at 8:30. We have a 2-hour break before the online Skype